do you condone, suggest, I mean, with a case like this, you could go get some good crowdfunding above and beyond through the JCCF, because an injunction is going to cost, I mean, I don't know, easily $20,000-$30,000 just to get to a suspension of the suspension, a lifting of the suspension.
That's right.
Have you, I mean, do you do that? Or Crystal, have you looked to crowdfunding, or have you asked Michael whether or not it's a venue that you might want to look at to finance the lawsuit?
Yeah, I'll turn that over to Crystal just by saying, yeah, the JCCF, we're supported by 15,000 donors across the country, and we represent everybody on a pro bono basis. But if people want to make donations to the JCCF because they want to support, for instance, Dr. Luchkiw in this, or if Dr. Luchkiw has someone who wants to set up GoSendMe type of GoFundMe rather type.
We say give send go. We never say GoFundMe again.
Yeah, right. Give send go, for instance, in this case, probably what we would prefer. Then sure, they can donate to it and to help her through this in other ways, because obviously she's lost her income. And
well, that's. Now I'm getting there. We're going to get to your hardship, Crystal, before we get to the hardship of your patients, which people need to appreciate. What are you doing for income now? Like they suspend your license overnight. What notice did you get when they suspended it?
So I'll give you a little bit of the timeline there. So November 29th is the day that they showed up at my office. And I have to tell you, it was an absolutely terrifying experience. I've never been through anything like that. I'm a highly respected, cooperative physician in my community. And so then it kind of went back and forth for a little while. And then in February was when they actually put a restriction on my license for writing exemptions. And I hadn't written one actually since November 22nd of 2021 anyway. So I had stopped doing that anyway for other various reasons, regardless. And then from February 23rd until March 8th was the time frame for our response, which we spent the entire time preparing. And then March 8th to March 16th, when the decision was made, was only just over a week. And then I had 12 hours. So they made their decision around noon on March 16th. And by midnight, March 17th, of this year, my license was suspended. And there was no guidance, none whatsoever, in terms of what happens next. As a family doctor, that's really challenging because there's lag in medicine. There's tests that I've ordered previously. There's prescriptions always coming in. So effective midnight on March 17th, my CPSO number, which is my prescribing number essentially, was invalidated, and my patients were then unable to have access to their medications. And then I found out recently that my OHIP number is also invalidated. And so that means there's also lag in doctors' billings as well. And sometimes things have to be resubmitted a number of times, and it takes a couple of months to do that if they've been rejected, say. But anyways, I know I have no opportunity to even do that. My income has been completely shut off. I'm not even sure if I'm going to get paid in April. We get paid once a month. I'm not sure if I'm even going to get paid in April for the work that I've done in February to March, because that OHIP number has been completely invalidated now. So right now I'm kind of in shock, and I have lots of skills. I can do other things, but I'm trying really hard and focusing, trying to get back to my patients. So I don't have another source of income right now, but
March 17, it was suspended. They basically say your livelihood, unless you had whatever you had on the side, your livelihood, your income is dried up. Another thing you said, which I hadn't even thought about, pending results for what's the word when you requisitions or whatever, pending results which had gone out, hadn't yet come in. They're going to come in, and who's going to receive them now? I mean, there might be people. I'm not saying that this is the case. I just can talk from personal medical malpractice experience, not my own, as whatever. A result comes in, and it's a positive diagnosis of something that the individual doesn't get until it's too late, because it slipped through the cracks. Oh, I'm sorry, you went out for a biopsy and we didn't get it back to you because we suspended Dr. Crystal's license, and too bad, so sad for you. So there's results for tests coming back. Then there's medicine's prescription. When you go to the pharmacy and you show them the prescription, it's got the doctor's number on it. They're going to say, oh, sorry, this is no good anymore. Your heart medication, we can't give it to you because the doctor had her license suspended. Go get another doctor to re-prescribe this to you, and that's assuming you can go find a GP without having to go to the ER to get this. I mean, this is actually it's enraging madness on the practical level, above and beyond the enraging madness on the personal level for you.
Yes.
And by virtually out of the blue. I mean, you knew you were on the radar, but you had no forewarning that this was coming to take any sort of steps to attenuate the damage.
No, not at all. And some people in the college themselves kind of pose, well, perhaps I should have been prepared for this. But that's absurd in my perspective, because I have practiced medicine the same way that I always have, and I've done nothing wrong. And so to have, to prepare for a suspension when I would never imagine that should be the outcome is a little bit challenging for me to have done. Plus, I didn't have any time. To me, I'm still practicing medicine and raising my family, all while trying to deal with the legal response to the college, which took up 3 weeks from February 23rd to March 8th. And so, then to have 1 week in between there to say, oh, I wonder if I should try to sort that out. No, I was still practicing medicine. I was still caring for my patients and doing home visits and raising my family. And so I couldn't have possibly been prepared for something like this.
I presume you had a pretty close, you had a close relationship with your clients. Were you allowed speaking to them after this? Setting aside your license being suspended, is there any preclusion from interacting with any of your clients because you might give them under the table medical service?
Not that I'm aware of at all, and certainly Michael hasn't advised me of that, because my doors are open. Obviously not for medical appointments at this time, but my patients are stopping by, and a lot of them are very distraught and distressed and upset and crying. And I take the time to explain to them what has happened and what I'm doing about it. And all the while my practice is being decimated because people are freaking out and trying to find someone else to provide their care for them. It's really been challenging.
Could I add something here, David, which is that the college, I've never seen this before, but the college did, notified the College of Pharmacists that Dr. Luchkiw had been suspended. Now, I don't know actually that they have the power to do that, but it is obviously something that they do behind the scenes. But I don't see anything in the legislation or regulations that gives them the power to do that. But once they do it, then the College of Pharmacists have their own internal statements, which luckily we were able to get copies of. And the College of Pharmacists automatically instructs pharmacists to cancel all refill prescriptions. However, it's in the discretion of individual pharmacists to honor the refill if it's in the best interest of the patient. Okay, and so some pharmacists have responded, appropriately and continued with the refills. Others have not. But the college gives you no heads up that they're going to do this. And so Dr. Luchkiw and I were totally unprepared to deal with this situation. They should at least, given that patients' lives can be at stake with medication, that they should have given us a heads up to make preparations around this, but they gave no notice. I wrote them a letter about it. They have shown no concern in the reply for patient harm at all. So they have caused patients to suffer and have put patient lives at risk through what they have done, and they will take no responsibility for it.
I would even say, even if there's no active interference in interruption, the psychological distress of people who are at a palliative stage of life, that in and of itself, I talked about, dehumanizing the human being, what the government, just that. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You got 3 months to live. Find a new doctor. That's. I don't want to say it's criminal, but I'm thinking it.